Over the last couple years,
9 young men and women from across the state competed in the 2013 Idaho Farm Bureau Speech Contest this week in Boise. All the participants spoke well to this year's topic, opening doors to Idaho agriculture, with a young lady from Twin Falls County winning the top prize, a college scholarship. Here's her speech in its entirety.
My name is Morgan Cassidy, and I'm from Twin Falls County. Is my audience ready? Judges ready? Timer ready? I will begin. By the time I finish my speech, the world's population will have increased by over 600 people. That's 600 more mouths to feed. And in the next 50 years, the world's farmers will have to produce more food than they produced in the last 10,000 years combined. But how does this affect us? Agriculture makes up the biggest slice of pie in Idaho's natural resources, allowing Idaho to be prominent not just in our country, but also the world when it comes to our food production. As we open the doors here to agriculture in Idaho, we open more doors across our great nation. So join me today as I cover some key points as we open the door to Idaho agriculture. First, we'll open the pantry door, then the refrigerator door, and finally, we'll throw open the front doors to welcome our knowledge that is our impact on our nation. First, we'll go over to our pantry. Now, what's the first pantry staple that comes to mind? Bread, of course. According to the Idaho Wheat Commission, all but 2 of Idaho's 44 counties grow wheat, with a massive 1.34 million acres devoted to wheat alone in 2010. But this big number has an even bigger meaning, because according to America's farmers, a family of 4 could live off the bread produced by 1 acre of wheat for the next 10 years. Do the math, and that's 5.36 million people with bread for the next 10 years, all because of Idaho. Now, when you look around your pantry, you may stumble across a writing utensil left there by a sibling, child, or aunt, grandchild. If that writing utensil happens to be a crayon, then you may have just stumbled across yet another facet of Idaho's agriculture. According to the Times News, though Idaho lacks the infrastructure to mass produce and market soybeans, we're giving it a try in both the Magic and Treasure Valleys. Last year alone, the Treasure Valley planted over 500 acres of soybeans. Now you may be wondering, how on earth did we get from crayons to soybeans? But don't worry. According to America's farmers, every 1 acre of soybeans, over 82,538 crayons can be produced, making a brighter future not just for our pantries, but for the world's children. Not to mention that, but soybeans also play a vital role in making a protein supplement for our dairy cows' food. Now we'll step out of the pantry and wander over to the refrigerator. Speaking earlier of dairy cows, what's the most prominent item in most refrigerators? Milk. And according to the Idaho's Farm Bureau website, from 1994 to 2003, Idaho milk production has nearly doubled in size, as dairy farmers from the surrounding state see all that Idaho has to offer and come here. Last year alone, Idaho had over 578,000 dairy cows. We each produced up to 27,100 gallons apiece. With all the money gained off these cows' milk, farmers were not only able to support themselves and their families, but also their communities. Through the United Dairymen of Idaho, farmers let the surplus spill over into their communities through their schools, who are a direct recipient of Idaho's surplus. Through the United Dairymen of Idaho, schools were able to receive grants to pay for supplies such as school supplies, milk coolers, flavored milk, Fuel Up to Play 360 cups, and many, many more. Next to that milk container, on the fridge, is a container full of mashed potatoes from last night's dinner. These potatoes, of course, were marked with the Grown in Idaho seal. But what is it that sets Idaho potatoes apart from the regular russets? Quite simply, Idaho itself. Through Idaho's nutritious potato growing soil, forged from over 1 million years of lava erupting, according to the Oregon State University's Volcanic Research Program. Not only that, but we have amazing potato growing weather and advanced irrigation techniques that have allowed Idaho potatoes to become top tier. No matter how good that recipe is, without Idaho potatoes, it still wouldn't taste quite as good. Now, with all the benefits we Idahoans reap from our potatoes and whatnot, it's little surprise that our surplus spills over into the rest of the nation. Now join me today as we examine the doors that are opened when we open doors here in Idaho. Idaho ranks 5th nationally in our wheat production, helping to add to the $34 billion trade surplus that supports our economy. Not only that, but on average, a farm can feed 155 people. And with Idaho supporting over 27,180 farms, do the math, and that's 4 million people fed. That's enough to feed Idaho, Montana, Alaska, Wyoming, and South Dakota. In addition to that, Idaho, along with the rest of America, contributes directly to 24 million jobs. That's enough to employ an entire country. If you were one of the 21 million people that lived in Australia, and then you could still hire more. So what's not to love about Idaho? As we open more doors here, more doors subsequently open across the United States. So, in the end, Idaho reaps a lot of benefits. By simply opening your pantry or refrigerator doors, you will lead to the opening of many more doors, which directly impact millions of people. By simply opening our pantry doors, you allow families to put bread on their table, and also to find jobs to support their own families. We allow the Magic and Treasure Valleys to grow soybeans, to make a brighter future for our children, who we also support indirectly through United Dairymen of Idaho, as we support them in supporting our future. We also take the world by storm in both our quantities and our qualities. When we open doors to Idaho agriculture here in Idaho, you never know just who you'll impact. Idaho's agricultural door is simply one golden evolving door of opportunity. And when people come here and see all that we have to offer, they'll ask, is this heaven? And I will say no. This is Idaho. Thank you.